Hello everyone, welcome back to Trek A Day. Just finished watching the third episode of Strange New Worlds Season 3, Shuttle to Kenfori, and this was, from beginning to end, a solid episode. I really enjoyed this one. It opens with a reveal that Captain Patel's Gorn infection is not as under control as they first thought, and Dr. Umbenga and Spock come up with a rather radical treatment for her situation, which at the beginning is partially kept under wraps as far as the full implementation and idea behind this procedure that they are thinking about, largely on the patient's wishes, as we get a great scene then towards the end of the episode after Pike uncovers the true extent of what this treatment is going to entail, and we have a great sort of emotional moment between them and kind of battling out, and the relationship element, the personal relationship element of the situation does really well. Both actors do a great job in selling that and selling the act of caring for another, but sometimes putting your own pain and interests in the forefront, and another person wanting to kind of shield them away from that by really knowing each other. And it begins with a mission to find a very rare plant that will help with this long-shot chance at a cure. Problem is, it will involve a mission into restricted space, an area that was contested by the Klingons after the war, so they must leave on a very unofficial mission where Captain Pike goes with Dr. Mbenga, and it ends up being something that could have come across as very silly, but ended up working very, very well. It's a bit of a zombie episode. The second time Star Trek has really done this, first time really being on Enterprise, and that episode on Enterprise got the terrifying element a little bit better than this, but this had still great atmosphere and action when they get to the planet and there is an interaction with the bodies of the Federation scientists and the Klingons who were on that world, and the plant life, and creating sort of a zombie type situation that actually works very, very well. It never came across as silly. I thought it worked wonderfully. And throughout this sort of action-packed run from the zombies, kind of a bit of a scary horror vibe, we also have really good character interaction and just really great moments and insight into the past and the relationship in between Dr. Mbenga and Captain Pike. The two of them have some very interesting conversations, and I think this episode as a whole does a great job in developing the characters and then bringing back to the violence and darkness within Dr. Mbenga in relationship to the Klingons, and bringing back the story from Under the Cloak of War from last season, which was one of the best dramatic episodes of the show so far, in the form of the daughter of the Klingon that he killed seeking vengeance. And it works really well in terms of the quote-unquote zombies being a great physical manifestation of the monster within topic of the episode, both with Dr. Mbenga in dealing with this violent side of him, this side of him that he needs to bring out for the sake of survival, that he can call upon, and the literal kind of monster inside with the Gorn infestation, Dr. Patel, and then in dealing with Erica Ortega's. She is continuing to have issues, and they lead in this episode to insubordination stemming from her still really straining with the emotional impact of her encounter with the Gorn. And I like the way this was handled as well on the ship, while we do have our zombie movie going on the planet. And thankfully, in those moments, Commander Unich and Riley, number one, was in command rather than Pike, because I feel like she invites a greater sense of duty and decorum and professionalism than Captain Pike. Not without the underpinnings of empathy, but she has more of an understanding of time and a place for it, and she's a little more going to lay down the law when she needs to, and it leads to a more private disciplinary conversation. I think just all the elements of the episode worked very well, and it dealt with the emotional conflicts. It brought some more interesting details and growth to the characters. It also had a great sense of action, a bit of dread. We had callbacks to continuing storylines, but it also can function just on its own, which is a hard balance and something that Deep Space Nine did really, really well, and this kind of harkens back to that. Overall, I just think this was a pretty fantastic episode, genuinely one of the best episodes of the series so far, easily better than the first two episodes of Season 3 in Strange New Worlds, and honestly, this right now, just having watched it for the first time, I like to, of course, rewatch episodes and kind of contemplate and look at them more as a whole once the whole season is complete. But as it stands right now, this is, I think, for me, an easy like top 4 or 5 of the show. So a very surprisingly solid episode. I was not, going into this and seeing kind of the zombie element and wondering how things are going to play out. I wasn't expecting this to be such a standout episode, but I am very pleasantly surprised. And even some little details that are inconsequential to like the plot or anything going on with the narrative structure were fantastic to see. It really feels like this season, of course, we have a change in the opening a little bit with some new imagery, and I'm noticing it more in this episode than the first two. I wonder how it's going to go moving forward, but I actually think some of the ways they are doing some of the visual effects shots of the Enterprise, and again, this could be just combined to this episode, we'll see how it moves on. The look of the ship hasn't changed, but the way it's being shot sometimes has a little bit more of a genuine kind of TOS look to it. Just little moments, little glimpses here and there, and I kind of like that. And in this episode, did anyone else notice that almost the entire main cast had a different hairdo? Just a little detail there, and even the this season so far, I don't think I mentioned it in the last video, but I think the costume work has been very fantastic so far this season, so we'll see how things are going. So far it's pretty solid, but this is definitely the best of the best so far for this season, and hopefully things don't go downhill from here. Hopefully the whole rest of the season kind of keeps up pace with this, because I think this was just a solid, like, just genuinely good episode of Star Trek. I really can't pinpoint any real complaints with it. And Strange New Worlds is always a hard one because there are so many episodes of it that for me, they're just almost there, where it's like almost really good Star Trek, but there's a couple things holding it back. Like it's almost there. It's still good, but every once in a while it steps over that line and just delivers something solid and fantastic. And I was impressed with this week's episode, so looking forward to the next one.